Describe for us your 3 campaign priorities.
My 3 top campaign priorities are: number 1, public safety. Public safety of any city should be the number 1 priorities. Public safety, what we've done so far for my first year in office, our fire department is receiving 4 long overdue needed fire trucks. They'll be delivered in the next 2 weeks. As well as I put in the 2019 budget 2 more firefighters. Our police department is being brought up to closer to our full complement of 222 officers. Last night, City Council approved 8 new police officers. Our police officers are now outfitted with body cameras. This protects our citizens and our officers alike for the usage of the body cameras. In 2019, we added 1 new ambulance, and since I became mayor 1 year ago, 16% drop in crime rate. My second priority is economic development. Obviously, we all know what the NIS has done to Center City. That is not enough to complement the entire city. We need to develop all of the city, the east side, the south side, the north side of the city. Our CDD department is working daily with commercial developers and housing developers. Courtney Robinson sponsored a bill involving the small business community. We now have a small business advisory board made up of 7 members. They'll be selected in the future. We continue to work with City Center, Janville Development, and AEDC to increase the availability of commercial and industrial space in Allentown to create jobs, job creation for our residents. My third priority is quality of life issues. I like to increase, working with the Allentown School District, increase after school and summer programs for our children. We started a systemic enforcement of blighted properties. I want all residents in Allentown to have access to health care, education, transportation, housing, air quality, and water quality. Also, we're addressing the human rights issue. In the 2019 budget, I put in to hire a human relations officer, which is long overdue. Discrimination has no place in the city of Allentown, and we are interviewing people at this point, and we'll be selecting someone very shortly. Also, I am talking to developers. My dream is to have a huge movie theater downtown. My dream is to have a big, huge ice cream parlor downtown for our families, for our children, for our grandchildren. The bottom line is, for me, public safety, economic development, quality of life issues, strong families, plus a strong neighborhoods equal a strong city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Connell. Patrick Palmer.
Hi, Patrick Palmer. I'm actually the chair of the Human Relations Commission that he was mentioning. I do agree that safety is one of the key points here that you want to focus on, but let's go a little more in depth with that. My 3 key points are job availability, not just job availability, but job availability for our Allentown residents. I can understand wanting to get more jobs, but if they're not going to our residents, then what are we doing here in Allentown? 80% of our jobs aren't going to our Allentown residents that pay $80,000 or more. We need to focus on that to make sure that our residents have the ability to not be working 3 jobs over and over and over again just to pay the bills. I also want to mention that we need to focus on affordable housing for our residents of Allentown. There are different things that can be done to assist with affordable housing here in Allentown. If you look no further, even Milwaukee itself, just yesterday, put into place to build a 32-story building with 315 affordable housing units. So that's something that can be done. That's something that's being done in other cities. That's something that's not really being focused on here. And my final point is our homeless. Once again, this all goes into safety as well, but the homeless need a place to live. The homeless need help getting back on their feet. A lot of homeless people, a lot of individuals don't realize is they're just down on their luck, or they were working those 3 jobs and they missed 1 paycheck from one of those jobs. That then creates a homeless situation. There's a lot of people in Allentown that are 1 paycheck away from being homeless, which is even more than the homeless that we have here. We need to focus on making sure that they have affordable living wage jobs. We need to make sure that they have affordable housing to live in, and then we need to make sure that we are taking care of the homeless situation through different rehabilitation and revitalization programs, including homeless shelters, to make sure they have a place to go to be rehabilitated. And that all does go back into safety. I want to have more transparency with the police. When it comes into safety, it's not just a police situation, it's a community situation. I want to be able to bring the community together so we can believe in and trust in our officers. And that, as being part of your human relations chair, ties in with the diversity and the understanding of trauma that takes place in an individual when you do have some kind of interaction with the police. These are what I will lead on, and these are what we will do to change Allentown.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson-Watts, please.
Good evening, I'm Cheryl Johnson-Watson. Thank you for having me here this evening. The three top priorities for me fall under one overarching goal: to position Allentown to be a leading city in our global economy. The three key areas of concern for me are our budget. Right now, we went to what I consider a last resort of a 27% increase. There are a number of reasons across the board as to why that occurred. My focus will be on generating revenue in other ways, not through taxes, not through fines, not through penalties, but through enterprise and permits. Permits are fees that you pay, but they represent opportunity. They represent the creation of something about to happen. In addition to that, quality of life. We talk about affordable housing. Let's keep in mind, there are some cases of housing that is affordable, but not quite well maintained. So we have to look at everything. In addition to that, when we talk about blight, we want to be careful that we're not now pushing people into homelessness as we have zealousness for the blight situation. We're seeing examples of that in other parts of the country. And then third, but not least, communication. For the first time today, I learned about a Live Near Where You Work program that is made available to employees of companies within Allentown. I just so happened to find it because I was getting to know the site to the depth of what changes might need to be made. These are the types of programs that need to be promoted to everyone, because perhaps you might not currently work at a company in Allentown, but you might consider applying to work at some of the companies in Allentown if you know that you could possibly afford a home if you work for them. So these are the three key things. Ultimately, positioning Allentown to be a leading city in our global economy with the focus on budget and how to generate revenue. Secondly, the quality of life, not pushing people into homelessness and taking care of them. And ultimately, communication. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Ramos.
Hello, everyone. My name's Tim Ramos. You can hear me? There we go. My big focus is our budget issue. For easily the last 20 years, we've had an issue in Allentown. High taxes is not something new. Many of you who are connected with me or connected with ACE read the article the other day from 1998 talking about high taxes in the city of Allentown. So obviously this is nothing new. And while everyone runs around, and I mean everyone in our community, they say, man, well, you know, we didn't raise taxes for 13 years, but they raised taxes by other ways. They raised taxes by the EIT tax, which was raised 2 times or 3 times. It was raised illegally because our city charter says that it's not supposed to go above 1%. It was raised much above that, and we need to hold our city accountable. And we have something in our city charter, which is our city's constitution, and they're not willing to follow it. Well, they're already creating an environment where it's okay to violate the charter, it's okay to violate the law, and we can't continue with that. We have a high tax issue that's forcing our communities into poverty, where everyone in the center city area, everyone across the city who are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, now we have to pay 27% taxes higher than what we were already struggling to pay last year. Aside of that, we have service fees, which have been increased over the years. We have a stormwater runoff tax, which is now being put on us. And again, I raised these issues a couple months back in the county commissioners meeting, and I argued that what are we supposed to do for our elderly citizens or people on fixed income? And within seconds, I sit down, the gentleman gets up, and he says, I want to thank Tim Ramos because I'm one of those individuals, and now after 40 years of owning my home, I might have to sell my home because I'm a loser. I can't afford the taxes that are coming. Second is community policing that I would like to reinstitute. I grew up where we knew the police from our community. I remember Officer John from Washington Elementary. I remember Officer Cruz. Actually, Officer Cruz even knew my parents. He went to church with us. And if he ever caught any of me or my siblings out of line, he would say, "I'm calling your mother." And of course, we ran home and we got dealt with. It builds the community. It builds stronger relationships with our community. And most people are less willing to disrespect or violate someone they've grown up respecting. Aside of that, I believe that our community needs a stronger voice in this city, so I would like to implement a true ward system, dividing the city into 7 districts, which would require our city council members to live amongst roughly 18,000 members of our community in that district, and I believe that gives us a stronger voice in the position of leadership, and we would easily change the face of Allentown doing that.